All right, so next is from Long Grande Wang. The subject is Take Your L Like a Man. It was just announced that in late October, early November, there'll be a Friday night that the AEW Collision will be running head-to-head with WWE SmackDown? Wow. I don't think I'm holding a unique opinion by saying it's likely that SmackDown is going to cook them alive in the ratings battle. But what I would like to ask you guys is, what would you do if you were booking Collision that night? Would you accept defeat and put on a normal show? Would you try to compete? I mean, Tony Khan could book something like Adam Copeland versus Christian, while WWE would eat them alive with a Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes rematch from WrestleMania. The AEW loss is inevitable, but how should it be handled? I don't know, bro. They should always be putting on a good show. Like, just say that you're going to lose in the ratings, that I'm going to produce a show that the fans that are watching are going to be underwhelmed by. That's ridiculous. I'd put the best show on regardless of whenever you're booking. You should always try to top the week before. I think that's one thing that Tony has a problem with, is he just has his vision of matches down the road that he wants to have and stuff and everything. And
Bro, it's 40 years. It's 40 years plus of experience being the leaders in the game with all the resources they have against a guy that's been in for 4 years. End of story. That's what it is, dude. There's no substitute for experience. They've done it all. WWE seen it all, and they invented the rest. You're going against the best who woke up a couple years ago. Me and Disco hated the show. We hated WWE, but they've turned it around into the enjoyable show. And AEW actually has, they could have dream matches. They could have a lot of, they could have AAA versus CMLL for the first time in 30 years. They could do a lot of, bring it and go head to head against them.
Oh, I want to bring this up because this is, well, actually, we'll wait for, is Larry going to be on this week?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about, remind me, I want to talk about the CMLL relationship with AEW and how that affects the climate where guys are not supposed to work on shows or AAA guys. We'll talk about that. That's an interesting conversation.
Yep.
Have you had conversations with your bosses over this, with the way AEW has opened up a working relationship with CMLL, Conan?
Yeah.
Okay, well, can we talk about it in the Mexican Wrestling Minute?
Right.
Okay. All right, next is from Rick Lopez, and some of his mailbag question. First time writing. I've been listening to your show for the last 4 months and wanted to thank you for providing great material to keep me awake as I drive across the state daily for my work. My first ever wrestling memory is Conan versus Pedro Aguayo, hair versus mask match when I was a young kid living in Mexico. My question is, would a hair versus mask match between Rey versus Dominic at WrestleMania be the ultimate way to end the story between them and finally get to retire Rey with the passing of the torch? Have Dominic lose a match at Mania. Bald Dominic would be classic wrestling, and a year later when Rey is ready to retire. Run it back and have Dom win and earn his respect and the right to wear the mask going forward. Or does Dominic not need to turn babyface and continue to be a heel going forward? Respect K-Dog and much love Disco Chinferno? What does Chinferno mean? That's just suspend the guy for misspelling my name intentionally there for 1 week. I should give him a yellow card. Let's give him a yellow card.
Yeah.
All right. That's an interesting thing. Dominic's got the mullet right now, so how about a hair versus mask match with Rey and Dominic, Cody? Are you in on that?
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. Look at the heat. Look at the heat he has right now and how much Rey's loved.
Yeah. It'd be a good way to build to that is if Rey wins one of these young cats masks beforehand in a hair versus mask. Maybe I mean, who could drop their mask? Like, you could have Escobar put the mask back on and say it represents heritage and everything, and have him get beat by Dominic for it. And then Dominic saying he's going to collect going to collect his, and then maybe he's going to collect Dragon Lee. Actually, that's not a bad. Think about this. Dominic gets Escobar's mask. Dominic beats his dad and gets Rey's mask to really put him over. But then Dragon Lee gets Dom's hair to give him the rub. Well, what do you think about that? That arc.
Yeah,
right
you
there.
could do that. I have like 5 scenarios in my head right now, but there's a lot that you could do there. That would be one of them.
Yeah. Next is from J12. Subject is AEW and CMLL. Hello, K100. This week on AEW Rampage, everybody's. You know what's funny too in the some new listeners of our YouTube channel, they were asking, why does Conan and Disco call it Rampage?
Right.
So this week on Rampage, they're bringing in Mystico, aka the original Sin Cara. Does this affect the relationship with AAA? And did you feel that Mexico should have made a return to WWE in this modern era where the same issues happen as the first run? God bless, guys. Don't answer this. Joe, mark this email so we can read it to Larry. All right.
Okay.
And don't put this in the mailbag or on the show. Just edit out that part. Okay.
Yep.
We can ask Larry about that. Next is from Gary Hands, and the subject is CMFTR. It was revealed a few weeks ago that members of FTR bought the copyright to the name CMFTR, which is the title of the faction that consists of CM Punk, Dex Harwood, and Cash Wheeler in AEW. FTR are trying to get out of their AEW contracts so they can return to WWE with CM Punk. CM Punk is returning to AEW, and CMFTR will be the new top faction in the company. What do you think is the most realistic possibility?
Well, there's I just looked it up real quick just to see if there's any recent news, and I thought this email, I just didn't buy it. I thought FTR re-signed for a long time, but they just lost the tag. They lost the tag belts to Ricky Starks and Big Bill on Collision.
Yeah, but I think one of them is hurt. I think one of the FTR guys are hurt. That's why.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wheeler has broken ribs.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Next is from Spanish, from Woven, subject is Spanish voice.
But what was the question?
That was the question.
Yeah, well, what do you think is more realistic? FTR's trying to get out of AEW, or Punk is returning to AEW?
Well, I just think the guy's posting missing. I don't know. But Punk returning to AEW is not on the table. And if they're signed, if FTR re-signed, they're not going to WWE. So I don't even know what this guy's asking. So next is from our boy Jared Aviat. Subject is defending the Finger Poke of Doom event. Greetings, K100 fam. Hope all is well. So I want to ask what your thoughts were on the Finger Poke of Doom. Was it really a big catastrophic event that contributed to the demise of WCW? Thought it was actually a fun idea in order to get the two NWO factions back together. Also, Hogan said he hated the Finger Poke but didn't have creative control to turn down the idea. What are your thoughts on this? Thank you, and that's best from Jared.
Wait, what do you mean he had no creative control? He always had creative control.
Well, I love Hulk, Hogan doesn't let the truth get away with good stories.
Never.
Right.
He was on Rogan just spinning yarns. Everyone's like, that is not even close to accurate.
But he's always done that. I would expect nothing less from the guy. What was he a change?
Yeah, he's still old school Carney, bro.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And some of these guys, I think they tell the story so often that they start to even believe it themselves. Like I know Hogan and Flair have both said in the past that they were there when Brody was killed. And it's like the quickest Google ever.
Right.
Yeah, you could find out that Hogan was in Japan and Flair was in
or in Puerto Rico. It's like you break.
Come on.
So I will say this about the Finger Poke of Doom.
I must have been there, Joe.
The venue they chose to do it in was an epic fail. They did it in the Georgia Dome and just people littered the ring. Right. So
beat
concept
down. Yeah.
The concept was fine if they would have gone on with the storyline where it was creating a whole bunch of people for Goldberg to fight, but it got so much negative backlash they just squashed it right after they did it. So it's the whole story, it's they got so much heat over it that it was they kind of squashed the plans that they had going forward. It was so it was a standalone thing. So
everything changed. 2 months later, Hogan was a babyface, and then he was red and yellow, and
right.
I think Goldberg was having contract disputes or something. That
he was.
Yeah.
So next was from C.L. Murphy, and the subject is the Presidential Hall of Fame. Good day, gentlemen. First, I have to say the show has been great. Keep up the good work. Question: do you think WWE will induct the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, into the WWE Hall of Fame? Oh my God. And does he deserve it? My opinion: yes, they will, but no time soon. I think it would be awesome to see him be inducted. I think he would appreciate it as well. Joe, do you have the Price is Right losing horn thing ready?
I've got that, and I was looking for another one. But yeah,
let's play it.
You are fake news.
That would probably be the most viewed Hall of Fame ceremony ever. What do you guys think? C.L. Murphy, he's already been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
10 years ago, bud. 10 years ago.
It's suspended and 2 weeks. Red card.
C.L. Murphy.
Yeah. Do you think
be
inducted to the WO? That's pretty funny if you think about that, right?
I mean, it's easy to forget some of the guys that have already been inducted through the years. I remember I forgot Junkyard Dog was in or something, and Coco Beware. You just don't remember because there's been so many. But everyone knows Trump is a Hall of Famer.
Right. I was just very surprised that the wrestling community turned on Trump, being that he was a WWE Hall of Famer. That was my whole shtick years ago. Next is from Jose Sanchez, and the subject is Nick Aldis missed opportunity. Hey K100, hope all is well. Mick, he spells it Mick Aldis here. Mick Aldis is in WWE and appears that they may use him in a similar capacity as Aaron Pierce when he's not producing. Aldis looks like $1 million. He's good in the mic and can go in the ring. I can easily picture him a feud with Rollins, Gunther, LA Knight, etc. And you can also pair him with Drew as a heel duo and also throw in Sheamus, who could use a character change. Just seems to me at least that he's more valuable to me in front of the camera as opposed to the back. What does K100 say? P.S. Disco, I'm sincerely sorry for your Braves getting sent home to the National League DS. Not to worry, though, I have a few gifts for you. First gift is a 1-month supply of the best Philly cheesesteaks. Okay, Jose Sanchez, you're suspended for a month. I'm not going to read the rest of your email. All right. But I will answer the question. Bro, he's going to be on TV every week in front of the camera now as is, in his Nasir suit. And his character presents himself as a guy that could stand up for himself, and given if like a guy gets in his face, it would be willing to and can fight because he can wrestle. Could lead to a match or something at some point. But him in a speaking role in a position of authority is a perfect gimmick for him on that show, because all of a sudden now, because he's a GM of the show, he's an authority figure, and all the other guys, the wrestlers on the show, have to listen to what he tells them to do.
Yeah.
Which is a good spot for the guy.
And it can obviously build excitement for his in-ring debut, which I'm sure will happen.
Maybe Adam Pearce never had one, so I would, maybe, but
Adam Pearce wasn't as big a name as Aldis. Aldis was more successful than Pearce, like by a lot.
Not really.
Well,
I mean,
Aldis
Adam Pearce was but Adam Pearce was an NWA champion for years, right? Nick Aldis wrestled in Billy Corgan's NWA. Okay, but it's still the same thing. But Adam, Nick was an Impact too. I forgot about that.
He was an Impact champion. Yeah, he was a top guy there for a minute.
But I'm saying it's not necessary for him to wrestle. His gift is the gift of gab. The guy's excellent on the mic, and he looks like $1 million. That's his value to the show. He looks professional. He's a great addition. But his first spot on the show was great that he had. So, what do you think, Conan?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think that, they should at least, every wrestler wants to wrestle if they still can. And I think you could still do some good storylines with him because he's good on the mic and in the ring. I'd say get as much as you can out of him as a wrestler and then put him back to GM if you want, or producing. But he's a valuable player. He can do everything. So that's the good thing about him.